All the eggs have been added, and what was once a really hard cream cheese is now a pretty uniform looking liquefied cream cheese and egg mixture, and we're adding to that a big dollop of sour cream. This is about 1/3 of what was left in this container, 1/3 to 1/2 of what was left in this container. So we've got cream cheese, egg, and now sour cream that are all being blended together here. So far, this looks like what's going to form the body of our cheesecake. And you blend some more. Here we go. And now you add to that a generous 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. There you go. Cinnamon is in. Incidentally, cinnamon was not invented. It just kind of grew on this planet, and we're taking advantage of it. You're adding a dash of vanilla, a big dash of vanilla. And we're going to zest in some more nutmeg. Here we go. She's got the nutmeg zester. Here we go. And some lemon scratch. Zest.
Lemon sat.
Lemon satch. Sat. How do you spell that?
Open the dictionary.
You spell it by opening a dictionary, ladies and gentlemen. But that implies that you already know how to spell it first before you're checking your spelling in the dictionary. That's one of the things I love about Pam. She gets right to the dictionary. Anybody who's spent any time in the kitchen knows that this is an old trick which is going to liven up the flavor of the cheesecake filling. And what we have here is about 1/3 of a lemon. You're taking the juice from that and putting it in, because you can't just put the satch in. You got to put the juice. And you're probably wondering, is this going to be blended together at some time? Well, yes, probably, when we're good and ready. The knife is going back on the counter, so we're safe for the time being. And we put the dirty scissors in the drawer. Notice I'm not using any southern euphemisms, because we are in beautiful California and there's no real accent to speak of here. Oh my God, I just got my first taste of that cheesecake filling, and it is good. Oh my God, this is good stuff. I hope you've been taking notes, because if you make this in your own kitchen, your family will be forever indebted to you, and one of them might even do the dishes afterwards. Incidentally, dishes were invented in the 2nd century BC. People were getting tired of eating food with their hands, on their hands. Oh, wait a minute. Very important part. We're taking our strawberry-rhubarb jam, looking for an appropriate sized spoon to scoop it out with. Going to put it in a bowl first, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually a good technique. You can use any flavor jam that you like. This particular one is a strawberry-rhubarb, so depending on what you'd like to do, if you wanted to make a pumpkin cheesecake, you would take your canned pumpkin puree and use some of that. If you want to make boysenberry, raspberry, whatever flavor jam you want, this is where you're getting the actual fruit flavor for your cheesecake. Am I right?
This is from Australia.
This is actually Australian jelly. So
Rhubarb and strawberry.
this is strawberry and rhubarb. And if your hands are super clean, you can actually scrape whatever it is off of your fingers and put it in there too. But do that at your own discretion. Incidentally, discretion was invented back in 1000 AD, during the Dark Ages. And there aren't many records of it because, well, they didn't have lights. That's why they call it the Dark Ages. You go ahead and blend this by hand, so far, to get the jelly in there. Nice and swirling. You want to get a nice even mixture. And now you're ready to recover your cheesecake pan from the refrigerator, where it's had a chance to cool a little bit for about 10 minutes or so, because all in all, when you're making cheesecake at home for the first time, you're going to be able to finish this in about 20 minutes like we are. Then you go ahead and pour your batter into your pan with your cheesecake crust. Almost makes you want to take out a spoon and just eat it without letting it harden or anything. Right, Pam? Yeah, Chris. See? One thing you'll learn about in Pam's kitchen is that when she's done putting stuff, you're free to lick the bowl. If there's anything left to lick.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, look what she's left. Divine. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'll be right back. I gotta change my pants. So now the cheesecake is ready to bake. We are preheating our oven real hot. We're taking it up to about 475 degrees.
No, 3.
Taking it up to 375 degrees. We're getting the oven real hot and getting it up to 375 degrees. And you take a couple layers of foil and put it underneath the cheesecake. This is a special trick. This is just in case any of it should want to leak out the bottom of the pan. And it also looks nice. So we've already got a roasting pan in the oven, and it looks like that's where we're going to put our cheesecake assembly on. Uh-oh. Pam has gotten her hands dirty. We've got the water on. The tile work in the kitchen here was painted by Pam by hand on ordinary tiles. And as you can see, a lot of time has been taken to put some exquisite detail into these flowers. It's absolutely a beautiful touch to any kitchen. And in goes our cheesecake into the oven. There it is. When you're baking a cheesecake, we've got it in a roasting pan, we've got foil surrounding the pan, and we're putting water in the pan with it to keep it nice and moist. So the foil is serving a purpose here to keep any liquid from leaking into the bottom of the cheesecake and effectively ruining it. Now this is a secret method of making the cheesecake. Not so secret anymore, or as I like to say, not so secret. That's N-A-S-S-O, secret, not so secret. Go ahead and close the oven, and we're going to bake our cheesecake for how many minutes, Pam?
1 hour.
1 hour. So I'll see you back here in an hour, ladies and gentlemen. Now we check, it's been about an hour, and we're going to check in the oven on our cheesecake that's been baking in here. It's still kind of liquefied. What do you think, Pam?
Another 15 more minutes.
Another 15 more minutes. There you go.
I like slow cook because it's moist.
It is time. Action. Okay, so now we're checking one last time on our cheesecake.
Look at that thing. It's been done. See?
It's done. It's got a little bit of bounce to it, but that's because it's at about 300 some odd degrees right now. And when you take it out and let it cool off, it will harden the way it's supposed to, and then you'll get the traditional look of the cheesecake. And this will be gone in record time. So again, when you baked it, you had your oven at 375. You have a roasting pan there with a water bath. You've taken your cheesecake pan and wrapped it in aluminum foil from the bottom so that you don't have water leaking into the actual cheesecake. Keeps it nice and moist while it's cooking. You don't want it to dry out. It'll become like a dry cake. You want it to be as moist as possible. So you very carefully remove your cheesecake pan and set it back on your cutting board, and you'll let it cool.
Cool it out, and then
let it cool at room temperature
for 4 hours before you remove out or eat them.
So now that it's out of the oven, it's got at least 4 hours before it can be enjoyed. You're going to let it cool to room temperature, and oh, it smells really good. So you let it cool to room temperature, and then you move it into the fridge for 4 hours. This is essential because you want to serve the cheesecake nice and cold, but you'll also want it to retain the shape of the cake once you remove it from the pan. And we recommend that when you do this, you don't just use one piece of foil, you use 2 pieces of foil. That's in case one of the pieces has a tear in it, you've got a backup there. And the last thing you want is for moisture to get into the graham cracker crust at the bottom, which is supposed to be nice and dry.
That's beautiful.
So as
Can you get me
so this is
the candies?
Something that used to be enjoyed back in the 1600s, in the late 16th century, has come all the way to us in the 20th century where we can still enjoy it. It's got a slight bounce, but again, you want to let it cool before you dig into it. Otherwise it'll be gone, and you'll probably burn it in your mouth because it'll be really hot.
For the thing, I'm going to add this paste before.
And here's our strawberry-rhubarb cheesecake, all ready to eat.
Yeah.
And it's finger-licking good.
This is the first time Nancy cleaned the dishes.
Well, she said you're lying.
Because the guy told Nancy, what about we just go out, have your mom wash the dishes? This is